Now, let's talk a little bit more about the first impression, specifically that first physical contact, the handshake, the eye contact, these types of things, right? That physical part, that handshake, that element of the entire interview right here needs to be memorable. It needs to be a handful, it's got to be tight, and that eye contact has to be very intense right there for the simple reason that you want to show presence. You are present, and this goes back to what I said earlier. The whole building could be coming apart right now, and I'm present with you right here in the moment because, well, this is the moment we've been waiting for our entire lives right now. Okay, so we're showing that we're present and we're listening closely with this eye contact for their name. Hey, nice to meet you, my name is Joe. And you listen for their name because, well, how many times, I'm speaking from experience, how many times, you could probably relate to this, have you introduced yourself? You listen for the name, and 5 minutes later in dialogue and conversation, totally forgot their name. Totally forgot their name, right? Listen closely for the name, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to actually use that later on in the midpoint of your interview and at the tail end of the interview going into the closing, and you'll even use it later on in follow-up emails to show that you were present. And again, this goes all towards having the person delivering the interview understand that you are there, you're present, and you're making an impression on them on both a conscious and an unconscious level. Firm handshake, eye contact, present in the moment with good intensity, listen for the name, and we're going to use that in later segments here. Once we're through that phase, we're going to kind of lay back and allow for the person giving the interview to ask us to be seated, and all this does is put them in a position where we flow power to them. They are the person controlling the job opportunity right now. They're the person with the job, they're the person, as mentioned, with the offer. And we want them to feel good about that. So last thing we want to do is pull the chair out and have ourselves a seat. We would prefer to allow them to ask you to be seated. Segments, and you are controlling the interview the entire time to ultimately lead them to the decision of you're hired.